I was raised in a Jehovah's Witness atmosphere, and and I can honestly say that this atmosphere was a very strict one. Luckily, my mother was raised in the same atmosphere, where my grandmother forced her to attend and dress the part. Since my mother had attended these and was forced to do this, she was also able to think for herself, understand that she did not want to put her kids through the same thing. Not saying it was a bad thing, but she just wanted us to think for ourselves. So her having to attend that way with her own mother, she did not force it on me or my other siblings. This I honestly thank her for, because the older I got, I realized how strict this religion was, and that I honestly probably don't approve of a lot of things they do. One thing that they also do is how you have to be dressed apart. If you're not dressed apart for the Lord, you're honestly criticized. Certain movies are not allowed, certain music is not allowed, and on top of that, you can't celebrate any holidays. But it's understandable, because today's music and movies are very inappropriate, but that's only some. But in my opinion, I feel like there are plenty music and plenty movies that are very appropriate, but it's still frowned upon within this religion. I talk about the Jehovah's Witness religion and faith because all semester culture versus pop culture has been our topic. And for the life of me, I could not break this down or decipher the two. And I struggled with this. I went to my peers, I went to my teachers to give me a better understanding on culture and pop culture, and I still found myself lost. But once I understood it, to a point that I can understand, it made so much sense. And to others, it might have came easy to them. It did to the peers in my class, but to me, I struggled. But like I said, once I understood it, it made more sense. For me to understand it, it was very simple, like culture. The traditional culture, the American culture family, is the male is the head household of the family. He pays the bills, he takes care of the wife, his family, while the wife stays home and she takes care of the kids, keeps the house clean, and then a happy dinner at the end as a family. That's the traditional American cultured family. In today's pop culture, it is more common for women to be more independent and not so reliant on the male figure. This is the difference between a culture and pop culture view. And that made more sense to me, because culture is a more traditional, moral value look on life. The pop culture view is the more trendy and self-explanatory, popular side of the culture in that time. So when you talk about the culture and the pop culture side of things, that's why I talked about my religion as a Jehovah's Witness. They're a more cultured view of life. They do not believe in changing their ways or do anything to add on to what's going on within the popular culture. They want to stick to their traditional moral views on life, and because it's their religious views, that's what they do. And the popular culture side of things is other religions such as Christianity, how they can now live stream and broadcast their live services and show them to people who are at home. We are in a pandemic right now with this COVID-19, and a lot of people are not allowed to leave their homes, but they do not want to miss out on their services. So it's very inconvenient to be able to stay home with their family, maybe sit on the couch and be able to watch a service from home. And that is also one of the beautiful things of pop culture. That's a pop culture thing, to use media in our advances. And that's something that the Jehovah's Witness faith would not do. I said that they also would not listen to certain music. We talked about music within our class because we actually had Myers, who is against pop culture and is 100% for the culture view. He talked about Beethoven versus Lady Gaga. I understand that comparison. I don't really listen to Lady Gaga, and I would like to compare Beethoven to Marvin Sapp. Now, Beethoven is more on the culture side of music, and I can understand that. Now, Beethoven, his music, he let his music talk through instruments, which is a very cultured way to do things, and it's still very powerful to do it that way. Within this video we're going to see, you can see how the audience was moved by Beethoven's his genius to form these certain sounds together with these instruments and just make it move you. Beethoven was a very genius composer, and he's very popular in the music world, and even in the movie world. His music has left a powerful impact, and it's very, very powerful. Now, Marvin Sapp is the pop culture side of music, because you see how Beethoven let his music, and let his instruments do all the talking and move the crowd, while Marvin Sapp, you can hear it in his voice, you can hear the pain in his voice and understand like what he went through almost on a personal level. So you went from instruments playing to his voice expressing to you and telling you how you feel. This was a very powerful thing, and you can see how the crowd gets moved within Marvin Sapp's voice, and just see how it moves the crowd.
Never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and I can say never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and I can say I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm better. It's better. Much better. I can stand here and tell you I've made it. Anybody out there, you made it. I'm stronger. I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm wiser. I'm better. I'm better. Much better. Much better. I made it. 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 Never would have made it. Never would have.
Now, these are two different eras of music. Same impact of how powerful their music can speak and reach out to people. That is a good battle, and that is a good understanding, but at the same time there are good qualities from both, but of course a significant difference within the two. Another thing that was talked about in our class was drugs. At first, because I did not understand culture and pop culture, I didn't understand why Myers tried to put it all on pop culture, but now that I understand it's it clicked. Pop culture is the popular trendy thing within that era or whatever, within that time of the culture. Drugs is a very popular thing. So the culture, traditional family, that they don't have drugs, they don't have that in their views or anything like that. While pop culture, drugs is a very popular thing to do. We had an outbreak of cocaine within New York, but that was before my time, but that was just a popular thing, and it's honestly still popular today to be involved with drugs, but it's not as bad as it was at a certain time, but it's still a popular thing, and I can understand Meyer's point of view on why he would dislike or have resentment towards the pop culture side of things because of the drug use, and that is very understanding. At first I was against it, but like I said before, I did not understand it. Now that I do, I can see it. And I want to relate this back to myself because in my future, I honestly want to be an actor. I want to be in front of the camera. I want to be involved. This is another pop culture benefit. I am not at an actual TED Talk event, but as you can see, it looks like I can be at one. This is a pop culture thing. The advancements that we have, it's popular to be in front of the camera, be on TV, to show Americans or people how to get access to certain things, how to do certain things, or even look like there are certain events or just do things because of the advancement in technologies and stuff that we have. This is a pop culture thing. The culture side, they probably would not understand the logic of using these and saying that it's doing too much or it's lessening our mind, but honestly, it's an advancement and it helps. It helps us get word across faster on pandemics and help people understand. In my career, I want to be an actor. That means I have to be involved in certain movies and certain stuff, or I don't have to, I can have a choice, but I personally want to, and I don't think it makes me a worse person because I want to do this, and it's honestly going to help me out in my future to want to be involved in this stuff and give myself a name for myself in the future. And like I said, it's a very important thing for me to be involved in this pop culture era because it gives me certain advancements. In all honesty, I just want to say thank you guys for attending my TED Talk. I am very thankful to the ACU family. Kreisman, Sonnstrom, I am very thankful for the years here at ACU. I appreciate it. I learned so much before I could not do something like this. I hope you really appreciate the efforts I put into this, and thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.